Hi, I'm Lizzie and this is Laura, and this is day 3 of our Costa Diadema cruise in October 2023. Today we are in La Spezia and we have planned to visit Cinque Terre, but does the amber weather warning scupper our plans?
We're currently on board a 7-day cruise on Costa Diadema, so if you'd like to see more about what we get up to on board, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We got up this morning and headed into the buffet for breakfast. Again, the selection was okay, it wasn't brilliant. I ended up with some pastries and I think a donut this morning.
And I just had a few croissants. They're not massive, so you can have more than one. We went and met Tom and Dom in the atrium because we were planning on exploring together. And we sat there for a little bit because we had taken too many layers with us. We thought it was colder than it was, but actually it was quite warm, even though it was very cloudy and there was an amber weather warning. So Tom and Dom were much more organised than us and they pre-booked their train tickets for the day. When we went on to book our tickets, you could no longer book them because there was an amber weather warning. However, we thought we'd just head towards the train station to find out what was happening and what we could do.
La Spezia is an industrial port, so you need to take a shuttle to get out of the port area, and all that does is essentially drops you off at the port gate. So we did that, got on the shuttle bus with no hassle at all, and then we walked from the port area to go to the train station. We did think that it was about a 25-minute walk. Yeah. We popped it into Apple Maps and followed the route on there, but that actually turned out to be a little more complicated than it needed to be.
Apple Maps sent us up into like a residential area and it was really interesting looking at the buildings. However, as we were walking along, you could see that we were running parallel to the main shopping street, which looked a much easier direct route.
When we got to the train station, it was quite busy there. There were lots of people around trying to work out what to do. We headed straight into the tourist information. The staff in there didn't really seem like they wanted to help us. And all they kept saying was you can't buy the special ticket to visit all 5 towns. We were like, no, but which ones can we visit? They did get a map out and they crossed out the 2 towns that were closed for the day. So we were still able to visit 3 of the 5. It just meant that we'd have to buy individual train tickets to go to those towns. That would work out more expensive than the pass.
The reason why they wouldn't let you buy the ticket where you could just get on and off at all the stations is because it includes the hiking trails, and the hiking trails were closed because of the amber weather warning. However, because Tom and Dom had already pre-booked their ticket, they were still able to use it to get to all the train stations.
We decided to go to the furthest point and then work our way back. So we went to Monte Rosso first. When we got there, it was still grey and overcast and the beach area was closed. So the beach area looked lovely and it was, you know, a really wide beach, but the waves were coming in quite violently, so you couldn't go down there, and there was actually a local police officer standing there cordoning it off as we arrived.
Next we jumped back onto the train and we headed to Venezia, and this was a much more built up area.
Yeah.
There were more shops etc there, so we walked down some of the winding streets and headed towards the beach area. Again, you could see how rough the sea was, and it was quite spectacular how the sea was coming over the walk area, which had been cordoned off.
Yeah, some of that was roped off, but people were just ignoring it and walking around.
We then, in true Brit style, decided we were going to sit outside. We weren't the only people sitting outside. There were quite a lot of different nationalities sat outside. So we sat outside a pizza restaurant, shared a pizza and had a bottle of wine.
It was windy while we were sitting there. There was one big gust at one point that sent everybody's stuff flying, but we all managed to grab hold of ours and make sure nothing fell off.
And we spoke to the waitress while we were there, and she was saying that this week had been the first quiet week. If we come any other week, it's really busy and hectic.
We then got back on the train and headed back to the final station, which was Cornelia. We got off the train at this stop, and this is actually the only one where the station isn't directly in the town of the 3 towns that we visited. So we had quite a walk up some very steep steps, which at one point we thought we weren't going to make it. And we were really surprised that we've never heard anybody else moan about these steps before, but we did get there eventually to the top. And then there is actually a little shuttle bus that you can get from the train station to the top too.
There was a sign when we got off at the station that just pointed towards the town, and there was no warning that there were these steps, so you didn't know until you got to them. We would never have attempted them if it was a really hot sunny day, because we just don't think we'd have made it. We had a little wander around. Again, there were nice little winding streets, beautiful church that we went into, quite old fashioned, and just nice little shops that you could pop into and have a look. We then got the train back to La Spezia. The trains were all very clean and comfortable, very efficient service. They run every 25 minutes. There were a couple of delays at times, but it wasn't massively an issue because of how frequently they run.
At this time, we decided to work out our own route back to the port, and we just walked along the main street and walked basically through the main shopping area. It was quite a nice big shopping area. There were lots of shops you'll have heard of, shops like Benetton along there, classic, you're on holiday until you've seen one. And yeah, it was much simpler, that walk. It was really straightforward.
It was flatter.
Yeah, it took us no time at all to get back to the port area, where we had to hop back on the shuttle bus to get to the ship.
Once we got back to the ship, we just headed straight back to our cabin because we were quite tired by now and needed a bit of a nap. We were just about to settle down for a nap and the phone rang again, and it was reception checking that the shower had been fixed, and we explained to them that actually it still wasn't running out properly out of the shower tray. They asked if it was convenient time to come now, and we said, well, we're just getting ready for dinner. So they said they would come during our first sitting of dinner.
We did also manage to squeeze a quick nap in today. Again, we struggled a little bit with announcements and things like that happening, but we did get a bit of shut-eye. We got ready then and headed out for dinner.
For dinner, I had a cannelloni to start off with. It was ricotta and spinach, and it was really nice. And I had deviled chicken for my main. It wasn't a spicy sauce. If anyone is ever on Costa and thinks it might be spicy, it definitely wasn't spicy, but it was tasty.
I also had a pasta starter and then the chicken for my main, but I did go for a dessert which was called caramel, beginning with a K. I actually wasn't too keen on it. It was just the textures really, but I say I wasn't too keen. I did finish it all and finish it quite quickly. My
seat at dinner is facing the aft window, so you can't really see a lot because it's been dark basically when we're in dinner, but sometimes you can see the lights from the cities, the ports that we're sailing out of. Today, however, I was treated to quite a show of lightning. At first, I wasn't sure if it was a camera flash. And then when everybody else started reacting in ooze to it, I realised it was lightning. And at one point, there was a really good piece of fork lightning that you could see across the sky.
Now on Costa, you can't pre-add your credit card before you sail. You have to do that once you get on board, and you get like a 48-hour window in which to do it. We realised at this point that we hadn't done that yet. So we tried to do that on one of the machines that was in the atrium area. When we tried to scan our card, it just said something like this action is forbidden. So we couldn't do that.
We headed over to reception then to add it. And as we were going there, we bumped into Tom and Dom. So we got some great service of a drink while we were standing in the queue. And then we managed to add the credit card at reception.
We stayed around the atrium area just for a short time to have a look at the party that was happening in there. Again, it was good fun. Everybody was getting really involved.
We then headed to the theatre because we wanted to try and get some decent seats, and we found ourselves good seats. And then Laura and Tom headed to go and get us a drink. You went up to Grand Orloff Bar, didn't you?
Yeah,
to go and get it, and then
down. It's really quick, to be fair, to get served there. I will say with this theatre, the stage is quite deep, so if you weren't sitting front on to the stage, you can't see everything that's happening in there.
The production that was on was called Extra Live, and the way it was described is that you would see some of the backstage as well as what's going on at stage. It was a little bit like a variety performance. There were some different things that happened from different people who work on the ship. We gather some of them may be crew.
Yeah, and there were even sort of lighting and sound technicians that came onto the stage in sections and sort of showed a little bit of what they do. It was interesting, but there wasn't as much backstage as we were expecting.
We then went to the Teodora Lounge where there was some live music, and it's so interesting watching the bands and the singers singing lots of different songs from different nationalities. I just don't know how they do it.
After the band had performed, the karaoke competition essentially was on next, and it's called The Voice of the Sea. It does have all of like the voice licensing, so everything is voice branded, and they have, you know, the proper setup on the stage. It was interesting to watch, very different to the karaoke that we're used to, because we didn't understand a lot of the songs, we didn't know what a lot of the songs were, but there were still some good old classic karaoke numbers in there too. So yeah, we enjoyed that, sat there for a little while and had a few drinks.
It was about midnight by now, and we thought we better head to bed because we had an early start the next day, as it was the day that we were planning on going to Rome.
We've really enjoyed ourselves once again today. Although the weather looked a bit like it might scupper our plans, actually we did still manage to squeeze in a good visit around Cinque Terre, and we enjoyed ourselves doing that. It was also a lot warmer than we thought it was going to be, so we did enjoy not needing a coat. And yeah, overall it's been great. Again, the evening on board the ship was also good fun.
Again, we had a great night on board the ship. There's always so much going on, and I'm not sure that the ship ever goes to sleep because there just seems to be something happening all the time.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give this video a like if you've enjoyed it, and also make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also follow us on social media. We're Sisters on the Seas.